Okay, we'll call the workshop to order. Lisa, call the roll, please.
Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Mr. Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. Bernard.
Here. Okay, Lisa, clerk.
Okay. Everybody is signed in, correct? I hope.
Yes, boss.
Okay, item 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of both, this is of the reorg. 2 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the workshop and the regular meeting. 3, to approve the bills. 4, to authorize payment of $1,500 to the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition for 2026 annual membership dues. Dimitri, do you want to?
It's a Mahoning
Speak
Valley
to this at
Manufacturers Coalition is a business organization of manufacturers. By being a member, we're one of the founding members of that organization. It allows us access to manufacturing employers for our grants and recruiting efforts, and also the joint partnerships that we have with them. We have part of the Penn region, which is the first interstate workforce region in the country between Ohio and Pennsylvania, and we're able to get grants because of that. So we actually currently have an apprenticeship grant through the MVMC, the OPEN collaborative, and we also have pre-apprenticeship programs that we work with them, and also we have a new announcement, but I can't say it's going to be coming Thursday. So it's a nice announcement. The MVMC received a special grant from the state, so I can't say nothing about it, but we're also part of that grant as well. So being a member reaps its benefits as far as being able for us to provide workforce initiatives.
Thank you.
Thank you. And since I'm the first of the new protocol, thank you, gentlemen.
Here we go. Just one question. With the Kimberly Clark, Amazon, all the jobs that come in, how do you feel we're going to be prepared as a county as far as having labor workforce and workforce ready?
That's not the only thing going on. Manufacturers Coalition is a coalition of employers. We also have the Regional Workforce Coalition that's addressing those types of issues. We also have through Lake River, they are spearheading the Regional Workforce Coalition that's addressing these issues. We're working closely with those new employers that are coming in through Lake River. We're part of their team. So as things that occur, of course, we're all experiencing the LTM situation right now. So we're handling that layoff currently right now at the Ohio Job Center to assist them with the layoffs and the unemployment claims and getting set up there. The timing is just perfect for this type of situation because the unfortunate situation turns into a fortunate situation where April we anticipate Kimberly Clark to start recruiting hourly employees, and that's where we're at about the time where those Altium Cell employees that are not getting called back will be ending their unemployment claim. So that would be great for them. Hopefully they can find employment sooner. However, if they're waiting on Kimberly Clark, that's when it's going to be starting. So the transition at that point will work in our benefit. We anticipate probably between Kimberly Clark and Lordstown, but our estimate is almost 2,000 very good paying jobs in this area. Our concern is not them, to be honest with you, because they're paying the top wage in the area. They're not going to have one bit of problem recruiting people. It's the backfilling of the other employees that are losing. So that's kind of what we're more focusing on than that, is they won't have any trouble with it. Just that it's backfilling the employers that lost that.
You used to be Department of Two. You're a one-man show now. You're going to handle it just as one person.
Yes, between the Huntington Job Center staff and myself, and we're doing a good job of staying abreast of everything. We're coordinating with other counties as well. It isn't just going to be Trumbull County. We're partnering with Mahoney County and actually with Summit County as well, because it's a good example. It's good. The employees at Altium, they got laid off, but as they did their surveys, they identified where they live, and probably 50% of that total 1,300 is Trumbull. So the other half are from different counties. So the same thing will hold true with Kimberly Clark and Williamstown. That it's going to be a regional region. Things are working real well. We're planning ahead. We also got the major job fair in April 23rd. We're going to be having our annual major job fair, and that the timing is also perfect with Altium, or not Altium, sorry, Kimberly Clark and Williamstown, the data center. So that we're trying to time everything in accordance with the activities.
What about Amazon? You mentioned the other ones. You had contacts with them yet?
No, not through Amazon. We directly go through Lake River, of course, but when it's time for them, Lake River say this is.
And those 2,000 jobs, that's gonna be over a period of time. That's not gonna be 2,000 at once. Correct?
No, it'll be, but the recruiting will be starting here. We're hoping within the next quarter or so. But my understanding is that there are currently managerial positions, top executive positions, and high level skilled trades currently. Labor and everything will be starting sometime in the second quarter of this year.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll continue. Items 5 through 10 are the county engineer. Just real quick, item 5 is asking me to advertise for sealed bids for aggregate materials. That's routine. And then 8 through 10 are routine permits. But I'm thinking the county engineer probably wants to speak to 6 and 7.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, those are regarding our permit fees for using our county roads. And there was some inequity in the way the permit fees were assessed to those who needed permit fees to drive on our posted roads. What we did is we reviewed our current permitting system with trucking companies who use our roads. Some big companies and small companies. Some of you know PI&I. That was one of the big ones. We had small ones as well that we deal with. And so we made it more equitable, more simplified, so that they don't have to get 100 permits. It just be used for a fleet. And so it's our fees are probably going to be the same. When bottom line fees for the year, it really wasn't we were trying to make more money or make less money. It was trying to make it more equitable for these businesses who have trucks that use trucks that are either they're located on a posted road where the business is located, or they use posted roads. So that's really all that is.
Questions? Okay, item 11, this is to adopt the resolution, you see the petition that was filed for an annexation. It's an expedited type 2 annexation. It was filed by Attorney Bushy, and she is here. In case anybody has any questions regarding this, but this is just receiving the petition at this point.
What's it for? I guess what's the property or what?
It's the Attorney Bushy, if you could just state your name.
I'm sorry, Attorney Martha Bushy. It's the Youngstown Area Jewish Federation. They own property adjacent to where they just purchased this land. It was then defined in a replat. They have a school that goes through 4th grade, and they want to extend their offering of education through junior high. So that's what they want to use the property for. But that property is located in Liberty Township. Their school system that they have now is under the Youngstown City School District. And they would like both buildings to be under the same school system. So by annexing into Youngstown, they could accomplish that, but the property under a type 2 actually remains in Liberty Township. So Liberty Township continues to receive the property tax, and then both entities will provide services. safety services.
Liberty School Board, Liberty School District have any say on this at all? Or?
We've been in touch with both school districts. Liberty is all in favor of it. They don't have any objection. Youngstown's not thrilled because, you know, they have to, as they already do for the lower school, they have to process the funds that come from the government through their processing system. But they would just still be doing the same thing.
What road is that?
Gypsy.
Any other questions? Okay, item 12 is to receive and place on file the November 2025 monthly financial report for tourism. So I'll let Beth have a few moments.
Good morning, Beth Cotwas Carmichael with Trumbull County Tourism at your places. You actually have our 2026 visitors guide. We call it Truly Trumbull Trip Ideas. I tell everybody in every presentation, no one in this county can say there is nothing to do. Get this book, you can go on our website, trulytrumbull.com. People can always call us, email us. We are always happy to help give trip ideas for visiting friends and family. We're really excited. It's for, we have a nod to the 250 this year. This is the first cover in my office. We've got 4 people we all agreed on right out of the gate. Usually we have conversations about what cover picture is going to work. So we're really excited about that. Also at your place, we are relaunching the Italian food trail. We are actually in the process of doing that. So no, Commissioner Hernandez, this is not a menu. It is it's the Italian food trail. And we tried to take a little bit of a different approach this year. And we're sharing our regional stories, our regional food stories. So you'll see something in here about hot peppers and oil. The Briar Hill Pizza. We're highlighting Jimmy's and Frankie's. This was a pay to play for those that are highlighted. So we have 8 Italian food trail sites highlighted. We encourage everybody to pick one up. We have also those at our office visitor center. But you get a sticker at each one of these locations when you do a purchase. Once you get all 8 stickers, you submit this for a prize drawing, and we are doing monthly prize drawings. Usually they're gift cards as part of our Truly Trumbull Trip Ideas box and some tchotchkes and fun little things. We have highlighted so that we're not leaving anybody out. We've got the 8 that are financially participating. But on the back cover, as well as on the map, we're highlighting those Italian food trail sites. So we've got everybody as we knew it when we printed these at the beginning, or I think November. So somebody might have been added or somebody might have been closed. But unfortunately, because these are printed, we can't make those changes. But we do have that updated on our ItalianFoodTrail.com website as well.
Capriati's didn't want to participate?
We sent out multiple emails to everybody. We've made phone calls. Anybody who wants to participate in the future is welcome to contact us. Samantha Emsinger in our office is the person that's coordinating all of this. We've already started doing promotion in December. I think November, December. Now I can't remember. We were on New Day Cleveland. We brought in Sunrise, Salvatore's, and Vernon's to come in and talk about the Italian food trail. They brought food with them. And we've been doing a lot of marketing in the Cleveland market right now, but we'll be extending that to Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Erie. I was in a meeting yesterday, and the Warren City School Superintendent said he actually saw an ad for this in Cleveland. So we must be doing something right.
This is very nice, Beth.
Thank you. Oh, and your picture, Cheryl, you weren't able to hang that.
No, not yet. We have to.
So also what we've delivered to your office today is your picture. So if you look on the the first page.
Okay.
We've repositioned that, but it just says welcome to Trumbull County with the three commissioners on it.
They all match. Now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Val.
You are very
Hi.
welcome.
I would expect this type of a book in Pittsburgh, Cleveland,
Thank
definitely,
you.
definitely professional
Thank you very
job.
much.
We'll have that picture hung on too. It'll be up there.
Like I said, you women in the office can certainly handle it from here.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
And if anybody wants those for their offices, or I found out the sanitary engineer's office is handing them out at their windows. People are picking those up, so we're happy to produce and provide those for anybody.
Item 13 is to authorize the Board of Commissioners to pay Neo Ride. This item was on last week, but he decided to hold it till this week because Mr. Salamone wasn't here to speak to us, but he's here today. I'm thinking one of you had a question regarding this. Penny? Is it you? No?
It was Danny,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he had asked, actually,
What?
So-
yeah, he had actually asked. Well, first of all, because Mr. Salamone will be retiring in March, of course. So the question was, moving forward, you know, we didn't know the direction of where we were gonna go, but Commissioner Malloy had asked, well, is there a deadline? And I think you had called, didn't you call, Lisa? Did you call to find out if there was some sort of a?
I did. I called Mr. Salamone.
Yeah.
And he said there was no hurry to get this on.
Yeah. But this week we want to vote on it. I mean, it's $1,000. I know it's not like a big deal. I'm just saying, you know, without knowing the
He's right
direction.
behind you. I don't know if you want
I
to
don't-
you talk for a minute.
Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman,
That's fine. That's fine.
I can't get past that.
Yeah, Mike Salmon, Trumbull County Transit Administrator. Okay, so what this was, or what this is Neo Ride. This is a group that's actually out of Wadsworth. It's called Neo Ride, because it's Northeast Ohio. They actually have 34 or 35 transit systems in this group, including like Tank, which is in Kentucky and other places. The whole idea of this group is to do multiple purchasing, things of this nature. For us, what they're doing is they were supposed to be doing scheduling things for transportation, but because we have multiple vendors, they can't do scheduling. So what they're doing is they're answering my phone. I cannot answer it. It's not when so if I'm on the phone rings, they hit 2 and they go over to Trumbull County, and they go over to WRTA. And we started the service back in July last year. They've answered approximately over 100 calls since then. So it's not a huge amount, but it does help with the rollover. But that way people don't have to leave a message. They can actually talk to a person to answer their questions. So that's what this is for at this point.
It rolls over to WRTA.
It doesn't roll over. I would love it to roll over. They have to hit 2.
What's WRTA do for
They answer their questions.
regarding
Transportation.
rides in Trumbull County?
They
How are
have
we
them.
tied in with WRTA in Trumbull County?
It's because, well, the reason it's tied into WRTA is in this area, WRTA answers the phones for us and does the scheduling for CART. Down in Cleveland, sort of, which is Cincinnati, does it for Butler County and somebody else down there. That's how it's tied in. It's because WRTA is the one answering the calls for this area. Answer.
Are these emergency phone calls, or could they go to you and then if you don't answer, they go to an answer machine and then you can get back to the people?
I'm sorry.
Are these emergency phone calls that need immediate attention? Or if they would call your number and you're unable to answer it, can it just go to your voicemail or your answer
no.
machine and then you can get back to them?
Actually, what it does is if they don't hit 2, then they can leave a message
With you?
But if if it goes over to two, they'll schedule the ride the person's calling for.
Well, no, yeah, so going back to CART, yes, because that's what they do for CART, they schedule their rides. For me, I've given WRTA, I call it cheat sheet of all my information, and they can answer a lot of the questions. Because a lot of my questions are, who are my vendors, how do I get set up, that type of thing. And they can give them the vendors' phone numbers, possibly send them an application, because a lot of times people want to by email. So they would just email them the application by email, say, yeah, well. So that's what this is. This is a rollover when I'm not
I
there.
still don't understand what WRTA has anything to do with our transportation system.
Well, the reason, okay. The
I
reason.
mean, why not roll to a secretary or
No, no,
somebody else?
it's-
Why not?
Neo Ride, when they set this up, it was actually supposed to be the transit system in, they were the ones supposed to be building the phones. They can't do it. So WRTA took this over. That's what it is. So they're just they're all part of Neo Ride, and they're just doing this. So, the reason is it's just WRTA is part of the service. That's all. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Just that, WRTA does it up here, Cleveland does it down south. That's how it's split between the two. So,
Isn't there a way to direct them from the answering machine to the service or something? Like, if they make the call and the answering machine retrieves it to call the schedule with the provider, or, I mean, is there any way of doing that? I mean, I know it's only $1,000. I'm just not getting exactly the whole gist of how it's working, especially like you said, Commissioner, through WRTA.
well, like I said, it's a rollover for answering my phone calls. That's what it happens.
But we can't do that with like an answer machine, like you were to leave a message, call this number, or call this provider.
On my voicemail, it does say call, well, it says the senior levy phone number also. So they can call the senior levy number as well as.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Would that work? Would Diane be able to handle that?
Well, the calls have been going over there too. So, I mean,
So
calls
we'll
going
It's
both.
almost like $1,000. I know it's only, but it doesn't, I don't know.
I mean, you're out there right now. If we called there right now, it would roll over to WRTA. If we had a question, we can hear what they have to say or how they answer it or who they say they are.
Right, so what it would be is,
Not a
yeah,
big deal.
you would have called and see what time it is, because they start at, the other problem is they don't start till 11, I'm trying to get it all. Well, no, that's what I'm saying, that's the other problem, they don't do it all day, at 11. But if you were to call during that time and press 2, it would roll to WRTA. WRTA would answer the phone, say this Trumbull County Transit Hotline.
They handled 100 calls for us.
They've handled 100 calls.
$10 a call.
Right.
Basically. That's what I figured.
And this could be an answer.
$10 a call.
Right.
Well, no,
Or roll to Mary Beth.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Our present contract, when does that run?
it ended as of December 31st.
Oh, so it's already.
Yeah, this is due, the due date for this is February 28th. Yeah.
I mean, if
I
senior
think
services getting
think
it,
maybe we need to take a long look at this. And it's not the money, it's
No, it's-
what are we getting for the money?
Right, it's not they feel like they're getting customer service from us. And if they don't get the service that's good, I don't know if it's good or bad, they're gonna blame us, they're gonna blame Trumbull County and our system. When we're having somebody in Youngstown or somewhere handle our calls.
Well, we're paying a service, they don't start till 11, and if
We're
they.
paying a service in Medina.
Right, and they don't start till 11, and then if they don't take it, then it rolls over to WRTA.
well, in this case, it should just go to senior services and let them handle it.
I agree.
I mean, why not let
I
senior
don't disagree
services?
with
Huh?
that. I don't
Yeah.
disagree with
That's what I think.
that.
I will table this. We tabled it last week.
Do you want to hold it for a future meeting?
Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
So what's the board want to do?
I mean, I can't see the value in it right now. If you want to do further thing and table it, that's fine. If not, I don't know that we need it. I know my vote would be
That's
now.
almost like table.
Unless it comes back up again. And there was an issue where people are complaining, I can't get a hold of senior services, can't get a ride, then there's an issue, but I don't,
We're not sure what they're being told now.
Well, the answer to one of your questions, so we've been only doing this since for 6 months. I have not had a complaint of calls going over, and I do not. No one's complaining
Well, how
about it.
many complaints did you
The
have?
people that are
before?
calling you are probably calling to schedule a ride, correct?
No.
What are they calling you for though?
They call me mainly to get into the system.
Eligible,
Eligible.
to see if
Right.
they're eligible.
They,
Correct.
first, yeah,
And which.
I would feel more comfortable in 3 minutes if we would call. Say, hey, I'm interested in getting in the system in Trumbull County and see what they tell us.
right, so.
Well, we can do that. Just table it and move on.
3 minutes.
Tell me about your service, and how do I?
All right, next.
Those are mainly the calls, and I tell them how the service works, and then I have to send them an application either by email or by regular mail. Is the way the applications go out. And then I get them registered for the service, and I explain to them, I send them a brochure also that explains how the service works.
If it goes to them, will they send it to them? Will they take their email? They'll do all that
So
stuff?
they do all that stuff. The only thing they will not do is send out it by mail. So what they do is, somebody needs it by mail, they send me an email back saying, please send this.
So they leave you a message,
No, they email me. Usually.
which is a message.
Yeah, it's all right. I thought you, yeah.
So this service that we paid for, how many new people did they sign up last year through that service?
That I couldn't tell you. Like I said, there was 100 calls. How many?
But how many did they sign up?
Right. And it could be that they just were answering questions, who are your providers, which we have the 4 providers. They know who they are and they'll give them phone numbers. And that could be what the question was too. It's,
Okay, thanks, Mike. Moving on.
okay.
Okay, item 14, is to enter into a license agreement between the Ohio State University Extension and the commissioners. This is to establish a mutual understanding regarding the placement ownership of storage building shed that's located on Trumbull County Soil and Water Conservation District property, 520 West Main Street in Portland. This item came to me very end of November, and I asked them to have the prosecutor's office check the agreement, and they did do that, and they got back to me, and now it's time. They'd like to go ahead and sign this paperwork. There's no general fund money being used for this. The purchase, installation, maintenance, and insurance is all on Ohio State University Extension. The county will be responsible for removing and reinstalling the electric before and after the shed is replaced. And even though they're paying for the insurance, the Board of Commissioners will still be named as an additional insured. Is there anybody in here from Ohio State? No.
They probably would.
Yeah.
It's just literally, they requested, Sheriff Taylor's office, they requested a new shed, which they purchased, be put on the property, actually replacing the old decrepit shed that is currently there. That's all.
Okay, item 15 is, actually 15 through 17 are planning. Is there anybody who can, Nick Coggins? I don't know if you want to go ahead and speak to this.
Hi, Nick Coggins, Trumbull County Planning Commission. Item number 15 is the Trumbull County Tax Incentive Review Council. This is a council that's required by statute to review any tax agreements, tax abatement programs that we have. The way it's set up is through revised code, it dictates that 2 people from each affected community, 1 person from each affected school district, and the Trumbull County Auditor as the chairperson, as well as the commissioners having 3 appointees that will all sit on that council. Auditor Yoder has set that date for Friday, March 20th at 1 p.m. There's a lot of reporting that goes behind this, but the commissioners at this point, we're asking to appoint those 3 members to the Tax Incentive Review Council. In last year, it was Commissioner Malloy, Mark Phillips with the IBEW, the Electricians Union, and Antonio DiTomaso with the IKORCC, the Carpenters Union. I did reach out to Mark Phillips and Mr. DiTomaso to see if they would be interested. Mark Phillips did put forth his interest in being reappointed to sit on this council. Mr. Di Tomaso is checking his calendar to make sure he would be available that date. I am expected to hear back from him today or give him a phone call back today to verify that. But they, as of right now, both expressed interest in being able to be reappointed. That would leave if you choose to actually reappoint them, that would leave the third seat, which is also Commissioner Malloy. But this is to basically set up our council that's required by revised code to review all of our tax abatements. Item number 16, to authorize advertisements for competitive sealed bid for the Trumbull County Law Library Monumental Step Replacement Project. This is one of your ARPA projects that's in your MOUs. Director Green had volunteered to take the lead on getting the sealed bids just to get that project moving forward. All this money has to be spent by the end of this year, so having concern for that, she volunteered to help with the procurement process to get that moving forward. And 17, reject bids for contract A of the Golden Triangle Improvement Project. This is the second time that's been bid. Contracts A, there's 3 contracts, A, B, and C. Contract A were all more than 20% over the engineer's estimate. So we have to reject all of them. They need to be within 20%. So this is to reject those bids and to authorize the commissioner's clerk to re-advertise for contract A. We're hoping this will be the last time we have to re-advertise and we get all 3 of those contracts wrapped up as soon as that rebid is done.
Nick, on that one there,
Mm-hmm.
who was the engineer that bid it? Because we're like $150,000 off that bid.
I believe MS Consultants is the engineer under contract for that project. And they put together that engineering estimate. And Director Green has requested that that be revised to reflect she's requested for the engineer to review that and revise it to be more in accordance with the actual numbers that we're receiving. That way we do not have to bid it on a third time.
Was my question. With inflation and everything else, where we're at with it's probably going to be more expensive, I'd have to think.
Hey, well, I mean, just looking at these 2 items and not opening all the bids myself, but you have one contractor submitted $530,000, one contractor submitted $535,000. Those look to be about pretty equal. So they're seeing something that either our engineer is missing or the inflation that they already see is something that happened that our engineers did not have that information at the time of setting that. Could be a multiple factors, but
And this was the second time.
this is the second time that this was
We're gonna
bid.
do it a third.
We're going to go out for a third, yes.
So Julie did arrange for them to read.
Julie is working with the engineering consultant right now to make sure that that is revised so that when we rebid this, it should hopefully will be the last time and we get it all under contract. And as she stated at the planning commission meeting this morning, she wants to have this project done by the end of this year. So that's the only ones I got. Right? All right.
Commissioner,
Yes.
I'll just add on to that. Thank you, Nick. Did a good job on that. Gary Schaefer, Trumbull County Engineer's Office. First time we bid it out, we didn't receive any bids on contract A and C. It was just a bad time to put things out. A lot of work was on the street. This time we had a lot of interest in it. So I'm pretty hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I'm confident we're going to get good bids next time. The consultant was MS Consultants on it. He decided not to revise the engineer's estimate from the first bid to this bid. And, you can see that was a bad decision on our part, not to jump in there and revisit it with them. We've already worked with it. We have a revised estimate. So we're going to take that estimate, the bids we have, give them the EDA, and then get authorization to rebid this out. We're pretty close. Yeah, I worked with their office yesterday and this morning. Get a revised estimate.
Thank you.
And on number 16, I'm fully in support of trying to getting bids on the law library steps. We're gonna get that done by the 26th. We're working on the front steps here. Daryl has made movement on that to get the front steps done at a decent price with Marino. And it's time to get the bids on the steps over there to figure out some hopefully realistic bids. To get those done for tomorrow.
Okay. Items 18.
And 15 tax incentive review. Either commissioner want to do it this year?
You like it?
I mean, it's one meeting a year, make sure everybody follows their bait.
Like it?
I can't wait.
Just you're excited.
I'll do it again, but then hopefully the two get in.
Like Mike.
Yeah. Okay, items 18 through 22 have to do with sanitary engineers department. Gary Newbrow, Bob Morano.
All right, Commissioners, Gary Newbrow, sanitary engineers, on item 18. This was a private sewer extension. It was on the agenda, it was on the agenda a few weeks ago. And we have new personnel over there doing this now. They didn't put on the, through the drawings resolution. That's all it is. We just need you to sign the cover sheet of these drawings. They handed it to me, told me they need to sign it as a resolution on. Oh, really? So anyway, it usually goes hand in hand with the private extension agreement, the approval. All right, item number 19. This is out on our state line road sewer project. Z-Tech Excavating built this for us. If you recall, this was a small extension with only 6 residential connections, and we found some unforeseen conditions down there at the manhole connection for this. And Phil McCoskey, he was able to adjust the quantities to be able to allow the payment for that extra work on that manhole, but then subtract back some of the unused quantities for the project. Anyway, it's a $0 change. We just need to be able to just to pay estimates to meet the new line items. They just make that happen. Item number 20, I was going to let Bob handle that.
Commissioner Bob Morano, sanitary engineers office. We put this item on, I think originally back in July, a few other items under this, and everything was approved except for the increase in hydrant meter rate. We discussed this in our December Water Advisory Council. And I guess the Water Advisory Panel wanted us to resubmit it again at raising the rate from $50 with no time limit to $250 with a 90-day time. So that their request, I put it back on. Yes.
So it went from 50, no time limit, to 250, we'll give you 90 days.
Correct. Now, these pieces of equipment, I don't know if you recall.
I remember.
They were $3,500 a piece.
Right.
So if we're giving them out for $50 a year, the county is not in a good position. We'll never recover any of our investment needs. So at $250, if it goes out for a year, that's $1,000. It takes us 3.5 years to get back our purchase cost on this. And that's all we're trying to do is make sure we're not harming.
And it's a recommendation by the board. That was
this the same rate that was proposed back in July?
It is.
And why did we table it?
Gary Newbrow, sanitary engineer. Commissioners, if you recall, Trustee Couche happens to be here today. He rents these also, and he uses it for his pumpkin patch. And after I've gone and researched it, he is the only person that is not a contractor that rents these hydrant meters from us. So he made a request that perhaps we can come up with some sort of different rate for an agricultural purpose or that sort of thing. So I presented that to the committee, and the committee, their consensus was that we're not making an exception to this for one person in the county. Trustee Kuja, that's what they resolved at the committee meeting. So,
I didn't know the committee was
Situated, please.
deciding rates.
well, they make recommendations to the board for these rates, so their recommendation is that they're just gonna be consistent across the county.
Need it for like 6 months, it's gonna cost $500.
Do you use it yearly?
Yeah, from like June to November.
Well,
I don't use it
Do,
too much.
yeah, why, can we get him one at a discounted rate, a used one or something, or you could purchase one?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they already paid for?
No, what I'm saying is, you know, it might behoove you to just purchase one, you know, rather than. I mean, if you do it every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's
What do those things run a piece?
3,500.
3,500?
But honest, I mean, my opinion would be that's our infrastructure and we can't have public entities, private entities getting
No,
on our
you
system
can't.
with a high.
yeah, you're right.
That's not.
Not
And
enough.
if it's gonna be taken out of commission for 6 months,
So if it was 6 months at a time, it'd be.
we're gonna have to buy more for other people if they need them or whatever, which costs us.
It would take us 7 years of that cost to recoup what we buy.
Right.
So how many meters do we have presently?
I believe 10.
And do we run into a problem where we need more meters when more are being used than what we have usage?
I think if we run into that situation, we would have to buy.
But have we run into that?
I think we're right about at the 10 that we have. And I think we might have one
If I
spare
could
per year.
read what Dennis is saying, I think he's looking for something for agriculture, help them out a little bit. So, you know, if he's a grower, I think, and I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, you know, it's not only his cost, but then he has to raise the cost of his goods because it's costing more money to produce that. So I think what he's asking for is maybe we should look at an agricultural rate instead of a business rate.
Gary Newbrow, interim commissioner. That's exactly what I proposed to the committee.
Well,
So I don't have a problem with that. I'm not gonna sit here and, you know,
well, could you come back with an agricultural rate, which you think's more equitable
we
for
can
us?
do that right now. I would think, if it's agricultural, they get half the price of this. 50% discount.
How are you with that, Dennis? I'm good with it.
So we're just adding that to this table.
Yes, well, yeah, if the commissioners are fine with that, and, we'll have to write that into this, come up with some language for you, Lisa.
Okay.
I
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
You got more of it than while you were here, so.
Good thing he was here.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Okay, so we're on item 21. It's still. Yes.
Bob Mariano, number 21 is to approve the personnel action for the employment transfer, it's really a promotion for Shane Williamson from the position of assistant wastewater superintendent to the position of wastewater superintendent. Bill Durst, our wastewater superintendent, had retired at the end of November. We probably should have addressed this in the end of into December, but due to Gary being off and not too many meetings, kind of got away from us. So we'd like to promote Shane. He does a wonderful job and he's invaluable to our plant's operation.
We're gonna replace the assistant.
It actually
We already have.
already been done.
We did that.
Started, that was one of the people. Started in.
And Commissioner Hernandez, if you remember, we met Shane when we were out there.
Yes, we did.
We did a walkthrough and
Nice guy.
facilities and,
Yeah.
yeah, we took a tour back there.
Item 22.
All right, Commissioners, item 22, Gary Newbrow, sanitary engineer. If you've probably been aware of out there on the large sewer project in Meadowbrook area. We have had, south of the road torn up for, about 3 months now. And this is, the contractor has gone down, has gone out as he was building this trench. He is filling it back in with 304 compacted 304 granular material. The results of that compaction to give us a temporary roadway are just, it is not something that's acceptable. And you drive down that road, you can't drive more than 5 or 10 miles per hour on it. That's how bumpy it results in. So we have been working with the highway engineer's office about this, about what would be our best fix to get us to the point of when the asphalt plants open up in the spring. And that's when we will make the permanent fix on it with asphalt. So working with them, they said our best way of doing this is to put a 4-inch concrete cap over top of the trench itself. Still has the 304 compacted granular fill beneath it, but we need this concrete cap on top. That'll give us a temporary road surface until sometime in April, when we can go in and do the permanent asphalt repairs. So to pay for this, it's actually going to cost about $50,375 to put a concrete cap on. That's on the same token. This project originally called for us to put low strength mortar almost the full depth of this trench. And the highway engineers have reduced their requirements for that, where we only need to put granular backfill back in there again. So the savings on that low strength mortar actually offsets the cost for this concrete cap that we're putting on the trench. And that's also going to cover some additional work that we had on Meadowbrook Drive when the project first started. We found out there was a water line from the city of Warren out there that we weren't aware of. We had to make some adjustments regarding that. So the reduction of that low strength mortar is able to pay for this concrete cap. So other additional work that we were required to do on Meadowbrook Drive due to that water line. And so it's a change order I am requesting, and it is actually a credit of $240.51.
And the main thing is it's a safety issue, really.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, we've had complaints,
Oh, yeah.
and so we have to do it. Does it make sense not to do it? And, the fact that it's not going to cost anything, you have a little bit of savings, but the main thing is safety of the residents that travel that road.
And we support it. I mean, we have issues plowing that road too, when you have the granular pumps from the back, the trenches, temporary backup. So yeah, we're in support of it.
Well, last week, Gary Schaefer from your office suggested that we expand and lengthen the main detour there. Have they done that?
Yeah, we've done that ever since I had that discussion with you on the conference call.
Right.
Yes, it's been expanded. And one of the meeting that we had last Friday with the parties involved, one of the things we were looking at is, well, we just want to leave that expanded all the way until April. We don't have to put this cap on. And we realized that, no, that's not going to fly either. We can't have those residents out there having this quarter-mile one-way lane going on for another 3 months. So we just sort of put our heads together, and we're going to use that savings on that LSM to correct this. So April. Yeah, and Gary Schaefer, he was always on here.
He's not here anymore.
He was very instrumental in making, putting this together as a consensus of opinion on it.
Okay.
All right, Commissioners, I have one more item. As you know, every year we nominate projects to the Water Pollution Control Fund through the Ohio EPA. And I submitted 2 projects in last year's round, and they both maxed out statewide. And there were only four projects statewide that maxed out the points, and two of them were ours. And one was Train Drive, one up in McKinley Heights, and the other one was Caleb Road, which is this Meadowbrook project phase 3. So we got principal forgiveness of another $4 million for phase 3 of the Meadowbrook project. So that's 3 successful rounds of $4 million apiece. We have one phase to go. That's Rio Vista project, and we're hoping to get another $4 million there, and that will max out the principal forgiveness for the project at $16 billion in total. So if we got through step 3 or 4, we need for home. Let y'all know about that.
Job.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay. I'll move on to item 23. This is a board appointment for Children's Services Board. I had a commissioner ask me to appoint for me for Bogan. Carol Davis here. Have any questions? She's right next to that. Jim?
We had a couple of applicants that I saw in the packet. The first one that I saw that came in was Attorney Bogan. He does work a lot in family court, and that was I interviewed him at an event and kind of slight interview and asked him about the position. He seemed very, very interested in this.
Item 24, this is also a board appointment for Board of Developmental Disabilities. Ed Stark is here as well. If you have any questions regarding that? I did not get a name to fill in there from anyone, so.
We have the packet, but yeah, we have the packets.
Well, if we can propose one by tomorrow, just put it on.
Right, yeah. Okay. Just let me know.
You should have one at this point, right?
Correct. Sure. Yes. Let's start Trumbull County Board of DD. Just we have one vacant position.
How many's in there? You call three?
The term actually started January 1st of this year, 2026. We'll run through December 31st of 2029.
I think we had 2 or 3 in each packet.
Yeah, there's 2.
And the commissioners are welcome to attend our board meeting on the 26th to swear the new appointment.
Either last year.
You know what time?
The meeting starts at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Keep right it doesn't shoot.
Oh,
What's that? I'm sorry, what's that mean?
Yeah, January 26th, Monday.
Lisa, just have fun, put that on our schedule.
Put on.
Or, okay.
Okay, item 25. This is to approve the resignation of Mr. Harlan Jones. If you can speak to them. And, 26, 27.
With regret. I'm going to say, Harlan, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Thank you for your service, Harlan. We appreciate your time here. And in your future endeavors, whatever you may choose to do, be successful.
Thank you. Same with me, Harlan. I used to live up that way where I hear you're going. It's a great community, and hopefully you like it there as much as I did when I was there. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
627. Executive session.
Commissioners Allison Johnson, Human Resources Department. We're going to executive session to discuss the bargaining contract, specifically 911, and then we will come out and make a decision whether you would like to approve or reject it. But the union did all vote in, well, the union ratified it through the vote, so.
actually within the month that it expired. So it's like, I don't think this has happened yet to date. Like, we're not, yeah, like this is.
Never, ever.
Yes. Never, ever. So, woohoo. That's a big.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that takes care of all the items on the agenda. Any public comments, anybody? Dennis? Any public comments? Anyone?
Since Dennis is here, Commissioner, I realize we do have a trustees association meeting on Thursday. That's your annual reorg, I believe. So, if we can have share our RSVP for myself and any other commissioners that might be there, so they know.
Probably the largest one we've had. Or
When is it, this Thursday?
yeah, duration.
Starting at 6.
I've already
Okay.
RSVP'd.
I don't know.
At DPS.
At 6?
Yes.
The speaker is Dave Thomas.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
6 p.m. Who am I contacting? Township
I
Association?
have it, I
Becky?
have all the.
Becky, I believe.
I'll see Becky in just a few minutes because I'll be going over to the LAPC meeting, so I'll talk to her there.
Mr. Chairman, just to revisit, we did visit the dog pound, you and I, with Alex. And we were there with, the potentials for not only the executive position, but also potentials for assistant position. Just for the record, so the people know that, we are moving forward with the process. And, we're all on the same page with this. First thing first, let's get the executive warden position in order. Down the road, the assistant position, which isn't as crucial at the moment, but and then look at the future of the movement of the dog pound. And I think the people need to know that we're not laying on it, but there is a process. So, we have to do it in the right manner. And I just wanted to put that out there for the record.
And just to expand on that a little bit, Commissioner, we are learning a lot of new information on things that we think is going to make the new pound a lot better. More involvement, with more things that we can and should and will be doing. Help the animals and to ask for more involvement, general public. So, I mean, every time we meet with them, we're learning more and more and more. And I think we have some good candidates, and it's going to be tough to decide where to go. So, and that's a good thing. I just think we're moving ahead in the right direction and taking our time.
Sure.
Yes.
Jenny Pasha, YBI, and I could just have a second. YBI has changed our name to YBI instead of the Youngstown Business Incubator. We have been named a Center of Excellence, so we have 22 counties in Northern Ohio. So the change takes the focus away from Youngstown and represents our current service area. And also wanted to tell you that we are nearing 100% capacity over at the Bright Building because we have taken over, some of the management opportunities there. So I wanted to make commissioners aware that YBI is doing good things here in Trumbull.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here.
Mr. Chairman, is there any update, David, on the tax map?
Yes. So me and my staff met with auditor and her chief deputy tax map director. And at this point in time, the auditor's definition of tax map is different than our definition of tax map. And our definition of tax map essentially aligns with what you will find if you do a Google search on what a GIS tax map entails. And so as a result of our differences, we're at a stalemate, meaning that there's nothing I can do until she agrees with what a tax map is supposed to be, which is what we define it as.
Have we looked at other counties around us?
Yeah,
for comps?
they define it the way we do. So I'm not sure why she's defining it the way she is. But her definition is essentially the lowest layer of what all is involved in a tax map. And our definition is all the mapping is a tax map. And again, you can Google what are the components of a GIS tax map, and it will come right up and explain it to you. I've done it. It's very simple, and until we, as the county engineer, can take control of the tax map, I'm not taking control of a piece of it and being responsible for all of it. I have to I have to take control of all of it to be responsible for all of it.
So where do we go from here? I imagine the prosecutor is conflicted in this one also.
Yeah, Bill Danso, prosecutor's office. It definitely is starting to put us in a awkward spot as far as conflict goes. I've explained to both Pharaoh and the auditor that we are ethically permitted to try to resolve disputes among our clients. It's just that there's a threshold when it becomes more than we can mediate, then we've got to be out of the issue. Engineer DeCristofaro has offered to meet with the auditor Thursday or Friday this week to try to resolve it. I'm waiting to hear. I was not able to get in touch with her yesterday specifically to talk about that, but my hope is maybe that would be successful. There's an option potentially to go to the Attorney General for clarifying opinion. There's no existing legal authority that really defines tax map much more than what the statute already does. So we could go seek an opinion from the Attorney General. The problem with that, and I think it's one that Engineer Christopher pointed out, is that that could put us behind in the time frame, and that even if the Attorney General is able to answer that sort of technical question, sometimes those opinions can take 6 months, 8 months, and that really drags this process down beyond what they were looking to do. Unfortunately, I think if we get much further past that, then we may be looking at a spot where we're going to have to come back to the commissioners and the Court of Common Pleas to say, can we appoint outside counsel for both offices so that they can resolve that legally? Obviously, I don't think anybody thinks that's the ideal method, but that is a dispute resolution method that it's available if we need it.
I would hope we wouldn't come to that. We spent enough money in this county in the past on legal representation outside of our own. Hopefully, David, you have a successful meeting Thursday and come to a resolution that works on behalf of the people.
Well, I hope so too, but I mean, if she doesn't move from her position of what she considers a tax map, it's not going to be resolved, because what her opinion of a tax map is basically nothing. I mean, it's like giving you a car without the engine, without the transmission, without the wheels and the tires, and say you got a car. You got to have all the components to make it an operating vehicle.
We did receive some information from HR yesterday. I know both of you guys were off sick yesterday, and I don't know whether you had a chance to review it or not.
I've read it all. There's
there's some
other
questions there,
issues.
My opinion is we need to follow the law. The law says, and I agree with the county engineer, he either has to have it in total control or not. And I'm not an attorney, but the ORC belongs at the engineer's office, and why not make it easy? Let's put it back to where it should have never left.
I agree. And as it relates to the employees, I know healthcare has been an issue. We have our own healthcare. If healthcare is an issue with the unions, then we'll just offer them our healthcare plan, as opposed to them staying on the plan that they prefer, which is the one that they're on now, which is the commissioner's healthcare plan.
Well, here's the other problem. They're 6 to 8 weeks behind right now. you told us last week that you can get, once you get it, you can get that caught up very quickly. So I would assume they're continuously to go behind. You know, we're just falling back more and more. And let's get it to where it's supposed to be. And let's everybody just kind of get along. Let's get it done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
and I agree. I think the auditor needs to work with the engineer to make this process happen in totality, but then we move forward and HR, we'll have to look at how this process is going to play out after that fact, because there are those issues that need to be looked at, but the first step.
But those issues aren't as major as these issues getting it over there.
Yeah, it's got.
I'm not sure what the other issues are.
Yeah.
That you're referring to.
You mean, just
well,
minor issues.
Yeah,
I don't know what they
we can't
are.
discuss these kind of things, but the main thing is that it gets transferred over first
With the records
the
to
auditor.
go with it.
Yeah, with the
everything.
auditor's participation.
That became
And
the larger issue, commissioners, just to date, that became the larger issue coming out of Friday. Alex, Stephen, Jency, Bush. So I think what HR was looking to do was not just give you a full synopsis of what could potentially be pitfalls, minor compared to what came out of probably the potential meeting on Friday. Because to your point, if you don't have all of the goods to provide the service, you can't provide the service.
Right.
So I think that's pretty straightforward.
Right.
And again, the issues don't lie so much with the engineers department because you are putting some, the jobs potentially unclassified. I don't want to speak too much about this, but it's just current contract where they fall under. So it does take coordination between.
Well, if they would resign from their position,
If they would, but I don't want to.
then they wouldn't be under a current
Correct.
contract.
That's just not necessarily the stance that I'm being told from the union. However, I'm trying not to get involved unless you want me involved, and I want you guys to work this out because I do believe I've read the statute, I've read the Attorney General's opinion. It's pretty clear. Tax map belongs where it belongs. But again, I also know operationally we can't provide that service, and we're doing a disservice to the people of Trumbull County if we're not able to provide that service in its full capacity.
Right.
So I'm more than willing to help, but there are some things that we just need to,
I
look at and
personally
we
had
can figure it out.
a call from a sale that has been held up for 3 months. And now they're in arrears. And I don't think the sale might not go through this big farmland.
That's what happens. A
And
lot of these contracts
can't-
for sale are timed.
Yeah.
And if it's a month and then passes a month and the contract is void.
Right.
So she doesn't want to provide you with the information that you need? Is that part of the problem?
Yeah, I mean, we need every part of the tax map, not just the base part of the
Well,
tax map.
that should be a legal question. Isn't that the county's, that information, doesn't that belong to the county?
But in Bill Dance, the prosecutor's office, it does. I think if I could sort of maybe, and correct me if you think I'm wrong here, I'm just gonna try to rephrase, I think what both sides think here is, the engineer's office is of the opinion that essentially everything that goes into making that map is part of the tax map. So I think, we're talking not only parcel shapes, but we're talking names, labels, parcel numbers, roads,
Township lines,
yeah,
section lines,
all those kind of
survey
things.
lines.
The auditor's office position appears to be that the shapes and only the very specific things laid out in the statute for tax map, the shapes, the labels of each parcel tax map, but everything over and above that is part of the GIS department, not the tax map department. And the statute doesn't really give there is no legal authority that really clears up that dividing line between what is tax map work and what is GIS work.
Well, let me clear.
Yeah, go ahead.
GIS, David DeChristopher, Trumbull County Engineer. GIS is what you use to create a tax map. It's like AutoCAD. AutoCAD is what engineers use today to make engineering drawings. They used to bend over a board and draw, like Arch Charnas did in the day before computers.
My grandfather was a civil engineer, and actually, believe it or not, random, Alex Stephen Jonesy Bush, did a lot of the designs for everything that you're seeing in this county. At one point in time, he was the main.
It was, and he did his drawings on a board like this.
Yep.
Now they're done on a computer like this. GIS is the same. Maps used to be done on a board like this. Maps are done with GIS like this. So GIS is the tax map department. There is no GIS and tax map. GIS is used to create the tax map. So Martha may say, well, GIS is my department and the tax map is yours. You can't separate the two. It's the
So the
same.
tax map department was taken from the county engineers department back in
2000.
Okay. The county engineer at that time, I presume, gave the auditor's office all that information that they needed with the tax map department, correct?
Yeah.
So now moving it back to where it belongs, and all you're saying is give us all the information that you received when you took it over. Well, it's not her,
Yes,
but that office.
it's just
took
in
it
a
over.
different format now. It's
In a
not.
different format, but
Yeah.
they got all the information that you had
Yes.
back in that
And
day.
there's a lot more information.
Right, but it's
Then-
still,
Still information that
it's-
goes.
the auditor's office still received all the information,
Yeah,
right? And that's all you're saying. Now give us back the information so we can make it work.
yeah. And I don't understand why someone would not want to give up some of the responsibilities that they have no reason to have according to the revised code. Why?
Nor should they have.
Yeah. Why does someone not want to give that up to the department that has the capability of doing that? Engineers and surveyors. We're GIS specialists. Why? I don't understand why.
Dave, the question I have, you're bringing two of the employees over. The other two won't be affiliated with GIS or tax map at all, right? They're going to be in the auditor's office. And what about the supervisor? You mentioned a supervisor. What's he going to do if there's no GIS or tax?
Well, I mean, there'll still be a GIS department, and it'll just be GIS tax map, and there'll still be someone working as a GIS supervisor. And that, I don't want to mention names, but that won't be one of those two.
Right, but they'll be supervising who or what if you're
They'll
doing
be
GIS?
supervising the system.
That's all part of the
This,
nice complexities, right?
yeah,
Because at the end of the day,
there's a GIS.
tax map is funded by, tax map portion is funded by general fund.
Yeah.
So that part's a little cleaner, but I mean, it's all good questions, Commissioner, but I would implore you to ask
And
the auditor.
I will point out too, Bill Danso, prosecutor's office, again, I will point out too, there is a section of the statute that says the tax maps are to be kept by the auditor once the engineer's office creates them. So I think that the interpretation of that maybe is something else that's getting a little fuzzy in the interpretation maybe. But yeah, there is whatever it is, there may still be a function for maintenance of the GIS systems and things like that.
Yeah.
But again, that dividing line is the point of contention between the two offices. And that's where I don't want to get into it too much right now because it's a touchy area for our office too.
I guess the question is then, is there any involvement here with the Board of Commissioners at all in this? Or are we bystanders just like Joe Public in this?
Well, I think technically, you're probably bystanders. The only thing that's very minor that probably implicates the Board of Commissioners in this whole process is that there is a section of the statute that says the engineer appoints tax map draftsman with the approval of the Board of Commissioners. And the way that we've sort of interpreted that is that means that, essentially he's going to procure his portion of the general fund budget for the number of employees that he believes he needs. And technically you may have some oversight over, if he says I need 15 people, the commissioners may say, well, wait a minute, maybe you don't need 15 people. We can fund you for whatever the number is. But he's still the appointing authority. The engineer is still the appointing authority for those people. He chooses who to hire for those positions. So the commissioner's role is really nothing to do with the transition. It's really the role of approving the budget essentially of the tax map department under the engineer's control.
So who was the engineer when they took it away from them?
I think it was John Littell,
Yeah.
and I think Adrian was the auditor. And man, I could understand how it happened, even though it was not right. The auditor was the one that I believe brought in GIS, and GIS was used to store auditors' records. Now, those records go onto our tax map using GIS. Right now, they're not using it efficiently, and Gary Teneri was here last week telling how they were not using it efficiently. It's like the way they're using it, and we told this to Martha and Tim. It's like using an Excel spreadsheet and have a whole list of numbers and adding them up by hand instead of having the Excel spreadsheet added for you. And you save a lot of time using the power of the software in GIS, just like you do in Excel. And I'm sure you guys know what Excel spreadsheets are and the power of Excel spreadsheets. You don't add things up piece of paper. You just ask it to add it for you. That's what GIS can do, and it's not being used. And I think they both know it.
Well, for point of clarification, Alex Stephen Johnson Bush, I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but what it kind of sounds like is that data processing board, you know, they own, which we all know, the data processing board owns the infrastructure, if you will, from the IT perspective. Is that maybe the push and pull? I'm just asking the question.
I don't really know.
Like, is it the database itself, or is it just the actual job duties, the job classifications? What?
On that same note, yeah, who owns the GIS? Board of Commissioners? Do we pay for it and we actually own the technology? We buy it, it's licensed to us? Or is it licensed and owned by the auditor or the engineer?
Well, that's why it should fall under, I would think, the data processing.
Yeah,
board,
I know
which-
the data board is supposed to approve software,
Correct.
but generally the contracts, I believe, are with the commissioners for the purchase of countywide software. Again, that was at this point 25, 26 years ago. I don't know exactly how that went back then.
And would it have been, it should have been a resolution. So there's hopefully some research we can do collectively to see that kind of stuff at least. I'm not asking you to make a decision, but we could at least inform the board of what, you know, a board signed off on, or what the resolution says, if it was moved, when it was moved, and kind of get more details so we can work together to overcome this.
Well, I mean, I don't want to make this any more complicated than it is. It's not complicated. They have people working on it today for the auditor. We can have people working on it today for the engineer. All we need is the same things they're using, except they're not using them to the best of the advantage of the system. Why can't we use it like they're using it without having all this? Who owns this? Who bought? Whose is this? And whose is that? Why can't we just be doing it the way they're doing it? Only we'll do it better. And another thing Gary Teneri found yesterday. He says it's costing the county $10,000 a year to publish the tax map on the website. Other counties are not paying anything to publish their tax map, and it's published the same way as ours. And he's saying we can't even communicate with the publishers of our tax map because they're not talking to, not even the auditor can't even express complaints that they have with the publishing. And we're paying $10,000 a year.
And who's paying for those funds? Whose budget?
Probably the auditor. I can't say for sure. I don't know. I don't think it'd be the commissioner. Maybe it is.
That's what I'm asking.
I said to Gary, I mean, that's what we'll do. We take it. We will. I mean, we're not going to pay $10,000 if other counties aren't, and they publish it the same way. I mean, we can make
Friday.
those up.
So you have a meeting on Friday?
I think
We're trying to get one on Thursday or Friday sometime this week. Yes.
I'm just waiting to hear. It's like I got a busy schedule. I hate to keep a whole day open, but I am.
Oh, let us know. That's all we can say.
Yeah, and we want to reduce that 3 months wait to 1 week.
Zero.
Is that an IT issue? Would that be an IT function, or is IT just install and monitor the technology?
I don't know.
I don't know exactly what role IT does with. I mean, I know it's a computer software. I'm assuming they help manage it, but I don't know what all is involved in that. That's out of my area.
Gary Teneri would know.
Yeah.
He's an expert in this field. That's one reason why I hired Gary. And there's many reasons why I hired Gary. That's one.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. See how things go Thursday.
Yeah, well, like Bill described, what we may end up going through, and you know, honestly, I'm not excited about asking for an AG opinion because they sometimes come back not very clear, and then how do you force someone to follow an AG opinion? I almost would prefer a court's decision. So then, if you don't follow the court's decision, that's a problem. That's contempt of court, I would say. Am I correct, Bill?
It could be.
To avoid all this, my only hope
Cases
is
here in
the auditor
Trumbull
will cooperate.
Yeah, I know. I would rather just meet. I want to meet Thursday and work this thing out.
The auditor needs to cooperate. That's the bottom line. I mean, we need to say it. Please
Yeah,
cooperate with the engineer to get this done. It should have been there a long time ago. Why are we holding this up? And then we'll look at the other, issues after, take it to that.
David, do you have anyone that contact Portage County, Asheville,
we've
Mahoney, Columbia, and see exactly, get the work,
yeah.
get the job description of their tax map and GIS people and the engineer. Have that as ammo that counties around us are doing this, so we have something concrete that other counties are doing.
Well, when I go to court, I'll have all that. If that
Well,
is what we
I think HR should be involved in that meeting because there may be some things come up that she needs to know about if they come up. You agree with that?
I mean, I'm more than willing to,
Alex has been offering for months.
yes, I have, true. But I will say, the more research that I did, I find that the nuances, David, to your point, are not so much on, I don't want to take sides. I hate sides in HR, right? But realistically, we need to be a team. And it's that those employees are under a union contract right now. That's as far as I'm going to kind of discuss publicly. So it's making that transition, having those communications together so that way they don't feel like there was any.
Well,
That union contract has absolutely nothing to do with county policy and procedures and
No.
management of
that's right.
tax map.
They
and
resigned
GIS.
from that position
Employees
and
don't
now
run
they're,
that.
If they resign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree,
Yeah.
but that's not what the union, I'm not hearing that from, and I'm just not sure because I'm not hearing it, I'm not from him, but from I don't know. what's going on.
Well,
That's why she needs
yeah.
to be.
I don't know.
those two employees, we met with them. We've had great meetings with them. We showed them their new office space. I think they're both very excited about, the new opportunity. They understand that they would have to leave their job and their union, and they would be classified employees. And the only thing that they wanted to keep is their health care. And if that's tied to the union, I even though some of the non-union people get it as well, then they can have my health care.
And
They
then
would prefer their health care, but if it's a union issue that they can't keep their health care, then they would have mine.
And then Commissioner Lloyd, just to be clear, because I don't want this to be spoken on the record, but the contracts do supersede Trumbull County personnel policy. That is very clear. A negotiated benefit does supersede the personnel policy.
Yeah, but she could have employees there getting the benefits, doing whatever. He could start up his own tax map independent of them and still bring the technology to him.
That's correct. If it were to go that way. Okay, but nobody's been able to really, and I will say, potentially that's not what the larger union entity is saying. Okay, so maybe the employees are saying that they're under a contract with ASME. Okay, so there's a higher level of.
But ASME doesn't Trumbull Howard if I could.
Well, I think that's all a moot point. The fact is that these two employees resign. They just like, I let you know that I can hire GIS people.
Yes.
Outside of the county. There are many GIS specialists that are available. I want to hire these two people because it's their job today and I don't want anybody to lose their job.
Right.
But if the union is going to make it that difficult where I can't hire these people, then I'll go outside and hire people. But it's only going to hurt these two people.
Yeah, and I don't disagree, David. And all I want to say is they're asking for a seat at the table, and that part has not been
Who is?
asked in council.
But why would they have a seat at the table? I'm looking to hire GIS.
Not for you. Like I said, this doesn't have to do with, this is on the other aspect. The
I'll
other-
probably go.
Of those two employees leaving their position.
I can't speak to what,
So I mean, it sounds like the union controls employees in their personal life. They can't even make a decision to leave a job.
they can
and
make.
Go
a
to
decision
another job.
to leave a job if they want to on their own. That's
Yeah.
their decision.
How else would they do it? I don't know how else.
We would have to, there's,
Maybe you two need
yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah, I think
That sounds like a total separate issue of taking control of the data and the information.
that's.
Yeah, it is.
The position
It is.
and the staff in two separate issues.
issues. Yes.
Right.
He wants to be cooperative
Yeah.
with staff.
Yes.
I just, there's another there's another problem that's not clear, and I don't want to misspeak, and I.
Okay, moving along,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens on
Yeah.
Thursday or Friday. Any other business?
I did want to ask Daryl, the elevator. Any update? Because it's been.
Daryl Dunnigan,
I mean, we're all getting some pretty good exercise, right?
Well, I bypassed the repair group that we've been dealing with and went straight to the company. And the word that I got from them this morning is that the drive motors were sent out for repair and they have not received them back. So that's,
You don't have any.
no timeline, nothing. That was the only response they can give. They couldn't give us a brand new one. We're gonna repair something we just paid $8 million or $800,000 for. Instead of giving us a new one that's less than 6 months old. That was their solution, was to repair that one because it's over.
Oh,
Okay, moving along. Dennis, you have anything?
I'll make a motion. To adjourn the meeting.
Second that.
So Hernandez. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Bernard.
Yes.